How's everybody doing today? It is a beautiful day. Happy Valentine's Day, and I hope that everybody is spending it with a loved one. Even your pets are loved ones. But all of that said, I hope everybody's having a wonderful 2024. It feels like we are all in jet lag from January, and that jet lag is finally starting to be shaken off now that we are midway through February. And a lot's happened celestially. I didn't really want to chime in. One, I didn't have the time to chime in, but I didn't want to chime in until a lot of that celestial energy had kind of solidified. As a light seer, as somebody who does do divination, there is a part of it that requires us to kind of allow the flow of the universe to be a flow and not use tools of foresight, or channel that psychic energy to kind of control. It's all about allowing at this point. It's about allowing through the heart, as the title of this is. We are allowing through the heart's fire to really ignite what our dreams and desires are over the next 2 years, 4 years. So let's go ahead and get right into it. I do want to talk about that we are the sun. We are the sun. We are the sun. Is in Aquarius right now, and that Aquarian energy is very higher thinking, thinking out of the box. I always joke with my Aquarius friends, like, you're not one of the human race, like, you're from another planet. If you have an Aquarius friend, you know what I'm talking about. There's how we do it on Earth, and then there's the Aquarius way. This is the age of Aquarius, though, so we are moving forward with a lot of revolutionary thought, a lot of revolutionary focus, overthrowing, you know, the paradigm as it stands is no longer working. That goes into Pluto and Aquarius energy, and that Pluto and Aquarius is just that visionary, out of the box thinking taken to the global stage. Where before it was how do we create this very structured um, money pit, lack of a better word, uh, into how do we create what feels good and what's good for everybody. You see how two are not the same. There's having abundance, and then there's just having money. And I think what we've come out of is this obsession with cash flow. And it's still there. Like, not to say that we don't need money. We obviously need money to do what we have to do as people. But the part of it that is very intrinsic to what's happening now is that, well, what are we going to do with that energy? Are we using it to fuel our own desires? Are we using it to fuel the desires of those around us, those that we care for? My boyfriend just walked through the door. um, so it's all in part with what we've built over the past 20 years to what we will build over the next 20 years. And so that's Pluto and Aquarius is kind of helping to lend to that visionary status quo that we will now be feeding into to change the paradigm from this oppressive, you must wake up, you must make money, you must rinse and repeat, to, well, no, I want to live the way that I want to live from the heart. Saturn in Pisces is still doing its due diligence in sort of setting the stage for directiveness in that arena. We definitely are leading with our heart at this point, where when Saturn was retrograde in Pisces, it was sort of waking up. I don't know where I'm at today, but it feels good. And this sort of, the best way I can describe it is falling up. Something happens and it should upset you, but really it set you up. It didn't upset you, it set you up for even better to come through. And that has just been repeating, repeating, repeating up until January. And then we really said, well, if this is how it's going to be, I want to fall up there. And I'm going to fall up there. And so now it's like, okay, I'm going to follow and fall up to what feels good. And as long as we're using that as the divining rod, our own heart, to say, this is where I'm going to feel my way into. This is now the house that is built on my feelings. And that's really the contrast there. Saturn in Pisces is the house built on feelings. And really, it's not so much emotional impulsiveness, although that's currently in the air right now. It's emotional confidence. This doesn't feel right. I don't want to do this. I don't want to wake up every day and go to this job anymore. I don't want to, create this kind of content anymore. I don't want to hang out with these people anymore. Again, it's following your heart without second guessing it. Getting into the energies that I was just talking about, that's kind of what's happening all around us on a planetary scale. On the shorter scale, we are learning through our partners. So right now, it is such an appropriate day, being that it is Valentine's Day. That if you are in a relationship, and I don't really like to boil it down to romantic partnerships, those are great if you have them. If you don't have them, really look at who you have a correlation with or a connection with, because there's all different aspects of love, not just eros. So learn through those partners, learn through business partners, learn through health partners. Do you have a fitness buddy? Do you have an accountability buddy? Like, these partnerships are also going to be a way through to that higher way of thinking that Aquarius is encouraging us to find right now. So expression through our work ethic right now is a really big thing. I'm really thinking out of the box right now personally in my own personal journey to find that, next level of what I do, not just as the corporation, but as the practitioner, as the artist. I am a healing artist through and through. Even this is a form of that healing art that I do for not just myself, but for others. But it primarily comes back to me and what I'm willing to cultivate for myself. So we're going to be expressing ourselves through that work. We're going through this whole emotional, impulsive state right now. So just, if you are upset, if you do find yourself having those hang-ups and feeling the self-defeat, feeling the lack of worth, self-worth, those are all normal things right now. So it's okay. I don't want to say that just go out there and go off the edge, but it's okay to kind of like lean on a vice if you want to go out and have a drink because it's been tumultuous. Like, the universe is saying this is the time for it. Clear ideas are also coming through. So again, just be that open conduit to that Aquarian energy. We need to understand our goals. It's a great time for writing everything down. It's always a great time to write everything down. But you definitely will gain more from it over this next 2-week period. We want to find our inner peace. We want to find this relationship with the world that's juxtaposed to us, that's calm. So also let things kind of flow off your back. Don't be so caught up in the moment that the smallest crack in your plan sends you reeling. Like, no, like, stand in your own confidence and find that inner peace, cultivate it, and really claim those moments where you do find yourself just at peace with everything around you. Work patiently right now. There's a lot of work ahead of us. Just because Saturn's now in Pisces and we're flowing directly, now that we are in the age of Aquarius officially, doesn't mean that things are going to just go as planned. I'll be right back. All right, continuing on. We are also in a position right now where we are so work-oriented and trying to get the year set up that there is a potential for abuse of power. So if you find yourself in a leadership role and that role of just you are the one that everyone's depending on. Just make sure that you are approaching that empathetically, that you are putting yourself in the shoes of those that are, working with you. Nobody is here for your own advancement type of thinking, that we are all either going to move forward together or, something needs to be changed. There needs to be compromise. There needs to be situational awareness. So definitely put that to the forefront of your thought. Uh, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get through these here. Learning grace is also in the atmosphere right now. We are trying to be at peace again with ourselves and the matters at hand, and learning to approach these conflicts and these obstacles, not from a place of, heretical, disengagement where it's like, it's okay, this is too much. I'm done. I need to just not do this. Like, but again, it's learning grace. Okay, how do I pragmatically put myself through this? How do I push from a place that's not going to leave me sweating at the end of the day? Excessive domination, again, with that abuse of power, but not so much to control everyone, but to absolutely dominate is in the air. So again, just be very, very keen with that situational awareness, and just know that you're part of a collaboration on this planet. And that yes, your goals are important. Yes, the effect is important. But what's more important is that you maintain that cooperation. And once you start stepping on toes, once you start stepping over people, once you start talking over people, you put yourself into a situation where you kind of dim your own light for the sake of shining the brightest. So it's again, it's like when we collaborate, when we all get our inner light and we put it together, that's how we shine in a really significant way. So just remember that situational awareness as we go through these next 2 weeks. Practical matters are also in the air. It is Valentine's Day, like I said earlier. So we're going to talk a little bit about love. And when you love somebody, it's not about putting yourself into situations of lack. So all of you guys, all of you girls who are out there buying the cards, buying the candies, just make sure that you're doing something that's not going to put yourself behind. It needs to be settled, and it needs to be fair to you, this relationship. You are the loving soul right now. You are trying to go the extra mile for your partner. You are going the extra mile for those that you love. So again, it's going to be that much easier to overextend yourself. We are feeling amorous. We are also feeling that relationship obligation. So again, situational awareness. Put yourself in the driver's seat to what's happening around you, and make sure that you're not. Again, I go back to the practical matters part, because that's what's really ringing true here is don't go beyond your means. And although the relationship obligations really define boundaries of what those relationship obligations are, it's not, spending the rent to show them a nice time at dinner. It's being there emotionally available. It's having empathy for when they are, trying to accomplish something. It's all types and manner of just putting yourself into that participation mode. And that's truly what the relationship is. It's both parties participating. Self-indulgence is in the air. So again, the universe has also created a back door for you. If you do go above and beyond your means, it's already been kind of planned for you, and there will be a opportunity for rebounding. So some kind of financial opportunity will come around, and you'll definitely do what you need to do to get back on track. So don't beat yourself up. Again, situational awareness. The unconscious needs that are also pervading through the air is making sure that your emotional needs are met if you are, in a dynamic relationship with a romantic partner. If you're just at home with your dog and your cat, make sure that you are also being fed by that environment. It's a time for intellectual reflection right now. That's important because it's also a time for mental conflict right now. The monkey mind is ever present, and what I mean by that is when you lay down to go to bed is when your busiest thoughts come crashing in. And so if you take a moment, 20 minutes a day, to just sit with a reflection of what's happening mentally for you, you'll create an environment where that monkey mind doesn't have to come crashing in. So, broadening our interests is also in the air, along with new discoveries. So, get out there, take a course, take a class, learn something new. It's definitely in the air for us to, again, innovate. Aquarius energy is all about that higher thinking. So, we are doing all of this in order to work to succeed. Over the next several years, we'll be breaking free. We'll have material changes. We'll be restructuring the world. We'll have more productive growth. And I'm saying these quickly because this is like over the next 2 to 4 years. But I do want to give them their own kind of space in this breakdown. We will be, the inner warrior will rise within us. We'll have harmony and celestial dance. We'll ignite inner strength. We'll be luminous and we'll be rebirthed. And we will embrace that. We'll have cosmic evolution. We'll have cosmic evolution and personal growth, and intellectual evolution and personal growth. So, I mean, cosmically speaking, we are just at the precipice. And as we look over, and like I said, I wanted to come in after all of this energy of Saturn going direct in Pisces, all of this energy of Aquarius and Pluto. I've seen it all over my feeds, and it's like, oh, here it is. And then okay, now what do we do? So here I am 2 weeks later after all of that information has been kind of fed into the collective to say, well, where does it find you? And so instead of seeing into the future, we are now doing that intellectual reflection into the past. So as these great celestial conjunctions have been occurring, now that they've occurred, how do you feel? Because that's what's important right now. Is that feeling of, I know that I'm advancing in the right direction. You should be internally excited, but also situationally aware not to let that excitement drown out your efforts. So again, it's just, this energy is going to be pervading through the next 2 weeks. We are ascending over the next 8 years. So I want to talk about these cards that I pulled. The first one in particular, which came to me, was the King of Cups. So the King of Cups is a unique one in this deck, and I love the description that it gives. That the King of Cups is literally like the king of the sea. And what do we find in the sea? We find all manner of creatures. We find, the pretty fish that are swimming by the coral reefs. And then we find, the deep, dark depth monstrosities that are lurking on the ocean floor. And the King of Cups is very much aware that he has dominion over all of these creatures. And so in our lives, the way that this kind of translates is you have a dominion of all manner of creature, be them decrepit and dark or like frivolous and lighthearted. All of these are now within your domain. And so you must treat each and every single one of them as one of your children. And I'm just going to leave that as an open-ended thing to self-interpret. So kind of sit with this in meditation again and reflect on that. That all manner of creatures in your life right now, be them dangerous or frivolous. Or a pufferfish. It also, it resonated all the way through to this next card, which is the Nine of Cups. And the Heroes deck. So the other one was just sort of the trusting the universe, that you are going to be put in these positions where you're with all manner of creature within your life. So don't let it become overwhelming. Like, you're supposed to be like increasing your vast social network. And you'll find all manner of creature in that vast social network that you're now expanding on. So when we look at the nine of cups here, it's every cup in a hand has all the fulfillment that this octopus needs, and there's still another cup in front of them. So this is speaking about abundance. This is speaking about, every action is having a yield. And although I remember once being told an octopus on roller skates gets nowhere, this one's in its natural element. And so it can move and squeeze itself into and out of the most unlikely of and impossible of situations. So you've done that. You have definitely come to the occasion and risen to the occasion. And so every cup of every extension of your desire has become fulfilled. You're holding these full cups in each of these 8 long hands. And there's still another one that you're reaching out for, but you'll have it. So again, it's as long as you can continue being what in your element. Don't try to assume the life and the shape of something with that doesn't resonate or feel natural to you, because you'll quickly find that again you've become the octopus on roller skates, not in its own natural element. This was followed up by I pulled one more card from the deck, and it was the King of Cups from the other deck. So again, this one is denoting how free we are. Look at the 2 dolphins swimming freely. Again, watery elements, the water bearer. This is very much the time. And how do we know that it's time? I pulled this oracle card, the blue flame, spontaneous awakening, activation, and integration time. This is where we're at. This is that blue flame. All right. I think that's good. I think that's it for today. And I really hope that this didn't just cut off, because I think it did just cut off. Um, I'm going to check this out. So you guys, if this didn't go all the way through, I will have to re-upload it, and we'll have to do it again.